Brought to you by Penguin. The Next Conversation. Written and read by Jefferson Fisher.
For Sierra, who supports me, Jet and Ruby, who inspire me, my siblings, who inspired me first, my parents, who prayed over me, and all who tried that and followed me. There ain't no good guy. There ain't no bad guy. There's only you and me, and we just disagree. Dave Mason, we just disagree. Prologue. The worn-out Berber carpet of the old ranch house felt scratchy on my legs. Wearing an oversized shirt and my Spider-Man underwear, I curled up into a ball in the corner of the main room. My hair and skin were still wet from my rushed, unheated shower. I was shivering. I was also grinning, ear to ear. 8-year-old me wasn't going to miss a thing. Everyone was in the main room. The patriarch of my family was my great-grandfather. He was a federal judge. My grandfather, father, first cousins, great-uncles, you name it, were all trial lawyers. Every year, the Fisher men would get together for an opening weekend hunt in the hill country of West Texas. There were 13 joining in total, and for the first time, I made it 14. I felt like I had been called up to the big leagues. Me, finally old enough to go on an 8-hour drive with my dad, listening to James Taylor, Jim Croce, and Jerry Jeff Walker. Me, finally old enough to be around the big boys. I hardly spoke a word, mind you, but it didn't matter. I drank IBC root beer and ate more beef jerky than my mama would ever have allowed. The first night was an experience cemented into my memory. As dinner finished, my grandfather put down his plate and scooted to the edge of his couch seat. He began to tell a story, something about his job, a judge, and a courthouse. I immediately recognized it as the same story he had told my dad earlier that day while we were fixing an old deer blind. Earlier, though, the story was more matter-of-fact. His voice came out plain as he told it while searching for some green paint in his truck bed. But this was special. It was the same words, but it was a very different story. I was entranced, watching as he stood up to reenact the scene. He used his hands and face to give texture to his voice. His volume went up on the exciting parts, low and slow on the intense parts. Even his tone changed. Could this be the same story? He captivated the room for nearly 10 whole minutes. And after a long pause, he delivered the punchline, and the room filled with laughter. I felt as though I had seen a magic show. The end of his story opened the floor to others as, one by one, my cousins, dad, and even my great-grandfather took turns with courtroom stories of their own. As trial lawyers, they were all wonderful storytellers. The laughter went on for hours into the night. I sat there in that corner, transfixed by every story, every word, with my knees tucked up into my sleep shirt. I took it all in until I fell asleep. It was late. My dad carried me off to bed, beef jerky still in my hand. The whole evening for me had been the discovery of something new, yet strangely familiar, as if I had seen it all before. I remember it immediately felt right to me, like a shoe that fit the first time you tried it on. That night, and for the next 10 years of opening weekends, I received my family's inheritance. A passed-on identity, dedicated to advocacy through storytelling. I realized with each year gone by that law was only the family profession. Communication was the true family passion. To no one's surprise, I wanted to go to law school and become a trial lawyer. And after practicing for 10 years, I still don't know of any other profession like it. I get hired to handle problems with people I personally don't have problems with. What's more, the opposing party...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?